As soon as this call is over, I'm gonna eat this sausage croissant from Burger King. As soon as it's over, I'm just saying. So I still got a way to go.
He right. At least I'm not too late. He can see everything. He got a croissant.
At least I ain't gonna eat it on camera. So
well, it's okay. You know, they say.
Hey, Marcus.
Okay. But before I say something,
let me meet him out real fast.
Oh my God, hilarious. You know, they say, you know, God knows us. You know, and that's why. Oh, hold on.
All right, go ahead, Darlaina.
Okay, there we go. You know, they say that, you know, God knows who we are. I know who you are. It's no need to eat off camera and do all that. I know y'all. Do what you do. You know, I say all the time, you know, you say a cuss word or something, and be like, God knows me. I'm his child. He knows how I am and how I behave. So guess what? I know y'all. I know how y'all are. I know how you behave. So you don't gotta hide none of that. But today so many things, you know, have come up. You know, people have been calling me recently a lot about the vaccine and my thoughts about it and all that kind of stuff. I do have thoughts. I have some very strong thoughts. But I want to delve into what some of the answers are a little more deeply. So I'm going to save that for next week. I got quite a lot of it of information about that. If that's something that is concerning to you, or you're having trouble with forms, or you know, whatever you need, I have access to all of that stuff. And so it's my mission to get it all together and then put it all together for a good discussion next week. You know, things like protocols and immunities and what you can do and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, how you protect yourself, even what you might need if somebody is in the hospital, what you can ask the doctors to do for your patient that has scientific background, with the paperwork to go with it. So I have all of that. So I will put it all together for you. But if it's something that you need specifically in this moment, by all means, please reach out and let me know. And then I will make sure that you have what you need for your family. So today, one of the other thing that has come up a lot is burnout. So many people suffering from burnout, especially right now through what's happening through the pandemic. You know, this employee burnout is at frighteningly, 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 frighteningly high levels. More than 1/3 of working adults on a regular basis um, are suffering from burnout. 77% of people, at least occasionally, are suffering from it, from all different age groups, experience levels, and industries. You know, according to this 2021 article published in Time magazine, recent surveys and reports suggest that women may be even more likely to experience burnout compared to men. The annual Women in the Workplace report found that the amount of women who say they are burned out in 2021 nearly doubled from last year. In 2021, 42% of women and 35% of men reported symptoms like feeling overwhelmed or fatigued, mostly in regard to work life balance. 67% say that burnout has worsened due to COVID and the pandemic. And so there's many ways you can treat burnout, kind of the same way you would treat when you have adrenal fatigue in the body. It typically involves resting more, working less, and eating and exercise in a balanced, nourishing way, and addressing issues related to, you know, your job, whatever's happening there, such as your workload. Some people have the need to be available almost 24/7. And so we have to identify if that is you, so that you can take whatever the crucial steps are for protecting your mental health. um, and burnout, since it isn't considered like a real medical diagnosis, what does it really mean? There's several definitions of it, but most include um, prolonged stress, fatigue, exhaustion, reduced motivation and productivity, especially in relation to your job. And I think what's happening too is because so many people are still at home. There's no defined line of work and home anymore. It's all kind of running together. It's like, oh my God, I'm working and I'm at home, but I'm working when I'm at home, and then I'm working at home. So it's just a constant, especially for women. Men might not so much, but women, like, you got the cooking and the cleaning and the kids and the this and that, and now you at home with all of the stuff that you normally can separate yourself from. Now you looking at the pile of dishes, you looking at the clothes that need to be washed, but you can't really do it because you at work, at home. So it's easy to see how a person can get into this state of emotional and physical exhaustion that's really brought on by just prolonged periods of constant, unrelenting stress. The most common, of course, is job burnout. The Mayo Clinic considers job burnout to be a special type of work related stress, a state of physical and emotional exhaustion that involves a sense of reduced accomplishment and loss of personal identity. When we are doing whatever it is that we do for work, especially now during COVID and this pandemic, with so many people being at home. And then, even if you are not working at home, you're working outside of the home, what's happening outside right now? They calling it the great walkout, or the great something, with so many people deciding not to come back to work. So many people, I know probably
Yes, sir.
10, 20 people personally that have stayed home, couldn't, release from work during the pandemic, and now they are making candles, shea butter, soap, making wigs, making jewelry. Like, people have decided to use the gifting of their hands and have really made a living for themselves. So there's no need for them to return to work. So if you are at work, what you're finding is there is an extreme shortage of workers. So you may be doing work for multiple people, at your job at this point, because or it's the people that are determined to stay home. They're afraid to come back to the workplace, so they're not coming back to the office. So those people in the office are getting a different type of workload. So it's so many things that are happening now. This whole term of burnout was first introduced in the 1970s by an author named Herbert Freddenberger, who wrote Burnout: The High Cost of High Achievement. He stated that burned out workers looked, acted, and seemed depressed. That would make sense. And since this time that he wrote it, the researchers have been studying what leads to burnout, and most often, the one published Gallup identifies several main components of burnout, including unreasonable time pressure, just not having enough time to complete all the work, or lack of communication and support from managers, lack of role clarity, employees not really knowing, what is really expected of them, and unfair treatment and unfair compensation. I don't know how many people can relate to that list. I know I surely can, especially the unreasonable time pressures and not having enough time to complete all the work, especially when there's not enough people working. So you're getting extra loads because people are just not there. And then, when the managers really are not communicative, or if they do communicate, it's not in a nice way. And so that makes it all the more difficult. That was absolutely my problem in corporate, having managers that did not know how to communicate uh, the needs in an appropriate way. They may communicate it, but not in a respectful way. A lot of times in a very disrespectful way. And if you speak to workers in a disrespectful way, what happens? How much can I get away with doing
Hello?
without really doing? Listen, how much can I do that I could just skate on by without really working that hard, because I'm not going to be treated this way? And that's what happens. These managers sometimes, my personal experience was my manager was so busy thinking I was going to, that I wanted her job. So she was so mean and nasty to me because she thought I wanted her job. Little did she know, I had just left a job where I was responsible for 60 reports. And to me, sometimes management positions in certain industries is really you being a big time babysitter. And I did not, I did not want to be nobody's babysitter. I just wanted to come in, do my 8 hours, and roll out. So she was very wrong.
Can I
And
say something though?
yes,
Listen,
please say something.
you hear this burnout, but like, can I say, watch this? Do y'all remember Tramika?
Yes.
Like, if you look at it from the instance of when you first went to work, Darlaina, when you didn't have no, this is what's going to happen, and I want everybody to hear it. When you first didn't go to work, when you didn't have no job, you got up, and your mother, really, your mom is the one, because she said she ain't give you no goddamn money. How about that? She ain't gonna give you no money, and then you got upset, and you think you want to be grown and leave the house and go get your own job, and that's what made in your mindset. And then when you got there at that point, you were happy, you were joyful, all of this stuff, and then all of a sudden,
reality,
you started smelling your pee. That's what you know how they say you
smelling
she started
yourself.
smelling her stuff.
Yes.
And what do that mean? It didn't mean nothing. It's just like her eyes are starting to open now. And you starting to see. And then you start. So with the world now, just think about this. What if there is no employee? Nobody goes to work. What if everything had to be in a level of no education? What if everybody was like me? This is the world you live in. This is everybody. This like you ain't got nobody at McDonald's. You ain't got look. Come on. It's a mind. It's just gotta be. I mean, oh my God.
You mean nobody to give Marcus a sausage egg McMuffin?
What?
No one to give Marcus a sausage egg McMuffin?
Nobody give him a sausage McMuffin, no eggs and bacon in the morning. Nobody to cook. Nobody to clean. Nobody wash your laundry. I mean, I'm thinking this. You want to talk about depression? You let that happen. See how depressed I get.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say.
Yes.
So I don't know.
I get it. I get it. It's all of that. And that's why it's so important to create the life of your dreams. Even that if that is working a job, really finding a space that works for you. Sometimes, jobs do treat you unfairly and don't compensate fairly. And so you may have to say, okay, well, this job is not working out. Let me see what else I can find, and just constantly be in that space of looking for what's right for you, whether that's entrepreneurship, whether that's a different different job, a different way. Some people are have their employee mindset, and that's okay. You may decide that, okay, your passion may be helping women, and so instead of coming up with your own thing, you look for some nonprofit organization to hit your wagon to, and go in there and be a coach or counselor for women in need. And that way, you want to go there because that's something that you want to do. It's rewarding for you. And you'll find your way in that space. And so, not to say that working is wrong or working is bad, it's all in what it is that you want, what's best for you, right? And so, aside from job burnout, people also experience exhaustion and lack of motivation, um, if they feel burnout from dating or keeping up with social media, taking care of their children and families, or some combination of these things. Social media is a thing, is a thing. I see these kids trying to be, trying to go viral. They trying to, do this and that and show up this way. And they're trying to look like some of these influencers that have all these brands behind them and all this kind of stuff. That is a whole horse of a thing. And sometimes we as adults, we do business on social media and all that kind of stuff too. But if we don't go viral or something, that's neither here nor there for the grown-ups. But it's the generations coming up behind us that's having such a tough time with trying to keep up with social media and what social media trends are, what the norms are. And so we want to be keeping mindful, around our kids, our grandkids, and whomever else we notice on social media. Burnout from dating, yeah, that can happen real fast. That can happen real fast and real easy. You-
Oh God.
because it's just a thing. When you single and you attempting to make your way in your life, and you know people show up, and people are just people, and they're gonna always be people. And so that can easily lead to burnout, because it's some nutty buddies out here. And if you attempt to do something like online dating, Lord knows that's just even more of a horse of another color. It would make anybody
Yes, sir.
it would make anybody depressed. I could tell you. I know. So yeah, don't do that. Don't do none of that. So really just paying attention to signs and symptoms around burnout. It really comes down to experiencing a combination of stress and exhaustion together. And obviously it's not healthy or sustainable, and can manifest into a lot of different things if you are under constant stress and constantly exhausted. That is when disease and illness pop up. So what does this burnout look like? You don't know what it looks like. Someone who is burnt out may be a middle-aged adult who has young children at home, who has uh, uh who has work and long hours on the job, only to, if they're outside the job and they come home and the house is loud, and the house demands attention because you got the little kids, you might not be able to enjoy your house, enjoy the job. you know even what your responsibilities are may feel unclear, because of the way the world has changed during this pandemic. The person may even struggle with sleep through the night, and really not have a lot of opportunity to relax, or even exercise, or even spend time with friends or families. Millennials are also seem really susceptible to, good morning, susceptible to burnout due to rising cost of living, trouble finding reliable work, debt. Again, this social media pressure for millennials is crazy. And that just really adds to everyday anxiety. And so I find that there are so many young people who suffer from anxiety. The more they say it, the more I'm confused. I'm like, what do you have to be anxious about? And so many of them, they're anxious over, the two young women I could think about who just recently reached out to me about anxiety. One is a single mom raising her maybe 6-year old daughter and suffers from anxiety on a regular basis. Another young lady, no kids, no nothing really heavy, but is anxious, don't like to be around people, um, even chooses the self checkout line so she don't have to talk to people. Like, what? You 20? What 20? How old? And so some of the stuff that comes up, is really amazing to me, because people process things differently, and that is what causes the anxiety, just in how they process it. So if you notice that somebody around you is always feeling tired, which can lead to low motivation to work, exercise, socialize, all of that, or being more irritable or impatient, or even critical or cynical more than usual, feeling like you can't concentrate or be productive, not feeling excited or satisfied by the things that usually make you happy, feeling anxious, like you lack control over important aspects of your life, such as your job and your schedule, or struggling to get really restful sleep, using food or drugs or alcohol to cope and lift your mood, or if you are dealing with symptoms tied to stress, such as tension headaches, stomach aches, or muscle tension. In some cases, even developing more serious concerns tied to chronic stress if not addressed, such as insomnia, alcohol or substance misuse, high blood pressure, obesity, diabetes, poor immune function. All of those.
We gotta go to the car dealer more.
You got to go to the car dealer more.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Let's go to the car dealer. We buying something. So, those are some of the common signs of burnout. But, there's also certain risk factors and personality traits that seem to put people at a greater risk for developing burnout, which include a history of depression or anxiety, or sleep deprivation, being up constantly to take care of things, working a difficult job that lacks really that work-life balance, feeling overwhelmed at work, such as due to this demanding schedule, confrontational bosses or co-workers, or unrealistic expectations about your workload. Sometimes personality traits of perfectionism or pessimism can lead to burnout. Lack of social support or feeling isolated. And right now, this feeling isolated is a big deal during this pandemic. People are truly, truly isolated more often than not. Lack of childcare, which is usually most stressful for mothers because you have the kids are constantly with you. Not having enough time or energy to spend time with your family or friends on hobbies or on any form of relaxation. Being in a sedentary lifestyle lead to it. Lack of exercise, having a long commute, or even working long hours. Sometimes we may not have a commute to work, but because we don't have this commute to work, we end up working way longer than what we should. Or working a job that involves taking care of others, such as being a physician or healthcare worker, police officer, first responder, etc. Those jobs are absolutely preconditioned for burnout. And difficult family life sometimes when there's situations in the household that can increase stress, difficult teenagers, health illnesses, or even financial worries that may make the job stress even worse. So how can we get to a space where we can begin to prevent this burnout stuff, and does it really go away? um, it's only likely to go away if we address the causes and make changes to your lifestyle and responsibilities. If you keep working the same job that you don't like, or don't speak up about your needs and boundaries, and don't reach out for help and support, then you are unlikely to ever feel better about your situation. We have to address these things. If you're working a job that you don't like job shows up in your body. Don't like jobs shows up as high blood pressure, as anxiety. It shows up in many, many ways. So you want to take stock. If you don't like where you working at, how you can change that. We're in the last quarter of 2021. We're about to say goodbye to 2021. There's so many seeds that have been planted in your life. So I know that it only can get better from here if you plan for it. You just have to plan better so that you can get someplace where you want to be. If you're not speaking up about your needs and boundaries, mm, that's a big deal. What do you need? What do you want? What boundaries can you put in place so that people can respect that? Because sometimes if you don't speak up and tell people what you need, you don't speak up and set the boundaries in place. I remember there was a time in my life when I drove a lot. I drove everybody everywhere. I was the person that you called if you needed to get there. I'm going to take you. Just call me on the
Right.
phone and I'm gonna take you. Man, I was taking people shopping, taking people to the doctor, and I don't even know how I got this job. It just happened. I had a big old truck at the time, so I was always picking up people furniture. Like, can you come and pick? And eventually I said, what am I doing? And why am I? And because I'm trying to figure out where all my time is going. My time is going to doing way too much. So I had to set myself some boundaries and say I'm only going to do this on such and such a day, and that's it. And that's how you protect yourself from doing too much in the wrong areas. You got to speak up. You got to set those boundaries, and then reach out for the help and support that you need. Because if you don't, you won't feel better. So how do you fix it? What tips can I give you to fix it? First of all, number one is address any concerns that you have at work. The experts recommend that people feeling burnout first focus on making positive change to their work schedules and environment. So maybe there's some things at work you can do, like make a list of exactly what's bothering you, and then consider bringing these topics up with your boss or your supervisor in a very respectful way.
Mm, mm,
Very respectful
mm,
way. We want to keep
mm.
our jobs until we ready to go. We don't want nobody sending us out faster than we ready to go. So that's what you want to do. So you want to make that list and bring it up. You might even choose to focus on your schedule, any demands that they have for the amount of work that you may need to do. Your work environment. If you're at a workplace, maybe it's always cold or maybe it's always hot. Something in the environment needs to be adjusted, and maybe you need to have some days off and have some time for traveling, etc. Ask for clarity on your role and your responsibility. you know um it's funny, you ask for your job description, right? And they put your job
Mm-hmm.
description and they give it to you, but on the bottom they always add that and jobs otherwise assigned or some junk like that. I'm like, what does that mean? Oh, that means we could give you other stuff that's really not in your job description. Oh, okay. But get clarity on your role and your responsibility, anything that you may or may not be clear about. This way, you feel more self assured about what your responsibilities are. Also, discuss times in which you're expected to be at work, which related tasks that you have to have, and anything that you can do unplugged from work. If it's the money, absolutely discuss your compensation if you haven't in a while, um, such as like more than 1 or 2 years, especially now because they need so many people at work. Because I don't know what they calling it, but it's something, the great something, the great walkout, the great whatever. I saw the Goodwill here in Georgia has a $500 and a $1,000 sign on bonus.
Why giving you that?
Oh, wow, I got a sign on bonus too?
Why got a sign on, baby?
You know, and the only industry I ever saw with sign on bonuses was nurses.
Was what? Nurses.
Nurses. Yeah, nurses. Well, now they got sign on bonuses for regular workers. I
Look,
said,
Lynn saw Delaware yesterday. We was going to my sister's in Delaware. And Lynn says she saw 4 signs on those big maybe was it billboards? They said
Yeah, the digital billboard on 95.
Digital billboard saying, what is that?
They're hiring. Like everybody's hiring. People aren't going back to work.
People are not going back to work. See what they messed up with this pandemic was that people wasn't going. They didn't think that people was going to figure out a way.
You crazy.
They thought that people wasn't going to figure out a way to take care of themselves, and that when they finish playing around with everything they doing, now they can say, "Okay, y'all, we finished. Y'all can all go to work now." And people said, "Thank you for this pandemic because
that moment,
it has taught me." Yeah, it taught me so much. Like people have learned to be self-sufficient. You got people growing food. You got. I mean, people are doing so many things that I have never seen done before, and so they now have a choice. Oh, I could come back, but only part time, and I'm only going to keep working from home. And what they gonna say? They can't say no. They can't force you. You know, one of the things that I read in all of the paperwork that I'm reading, some of these jobs trying to, mandate vaccines and all this kind of stuff. These people is not standing for that. They're not coming back. They are not coming back. Oh, bus drivers have a sign-on bonus too. Marcus said drivers have a $10,000 drive bonus too. Yeah, because it's really it's almost it's like how they say in the real estate market. In the real estate market, it's a seller's market or it's a buyer's market. Right now it's a seller's market. Sellers is charging all kinds of stuff. One of my friends trying to buy a house got outbidded like every single house, and not outbidded by like 5,000 or 10,000, outbidded by like 30,000. They saying that these it's corporations out here buying up the houses. And I saw some special there, so it's a whole bunch of things like that happening. And so you really can set your own self up if you gotta work. Earning more money will help ease some of your worries, help you achieve more balance, such as even hiring help for certain responsibilities at home. You can get your laundry washed, you can get the Mary Maids to come in. All of these companies have now pivoted in a way where they are COVID responsible. So you'll be able to get that. Even consider if gaining more flexibility by working from home or adjusting your hours is a possibility. Research shows that some of this can really be crucial for parents who want to remain in the workforce, especially women. Um, some people will struggle with balancing life when working from home. So consider which setup is best for you. Some of the things that we've been seeing. One of my friends, she's like the manager that listens to the phones when people from people working at home. Some of the complaints she got was the call went through, but I heard snoring. Or the call went through and I heard somebody yelling at their kids. And so, people definitely are doing things that they should. And some people are saying, "Oh, I couldn't work because my internet went down." Now her job requires for you to prove that your internet went down. I was cracking up laughing. But you have to, figure out if working from home is still viable for you, or if going into the office is going to be good for you. Prioritize your sleep and your relaxation. It can be hard to sleep when you feel stressed or work long hours, but sleep deprivation only makes your mood worse. It makes your productivity worse. So try to prioritize sleep by heading to bed around the same time every night, aiming for 7 to 9 hours of sleep to feel your best. As a part of a nighttime routine, to feel calm and help you relax, incorporate some stress relieving activities into your day, like meditation, exercise, reading, journaling, yoga, spending time outdoors. So much, it's so important to still go outdoors. We know the weather is about to change in a lot of spaces, but still going outside, getting that sun on your skin, getting regular exercise is both a stress buster and a way to enhance your sleep, since it naturally your mood and makes you more tired close to bedtime. So try squeezing in a walk during a break at work, or getting some fresh air and sun, or even taking your lunch break to go to the gym. And so that way, that absolutely adds to that process of feeling better. Practicing mindfulness and meditation, or some other suggestions from people who feel stressed. Quieting your mind. We talked about this before. Paying attention to the present moment and sensing and feeling your body. You can learn to approach things with a healthier perspective by doing that. Taking time out to really breathe and meditate through whatever it is. Seeking support from family, friends, and coworkers. Sometimes this feelings of isolation and loneliness is the most stress-induced feelings people face, especially now. So make an effort to reach out to friends, coworkers, mentors, family, for advice, help, and support. Yes, aromatherapy is really good. Vivica Fox shared in her book that she in the morning she takes a shower with eucalyptus and peppermint, kind of just puts that in her shower, and then at night she showers with lavender. And so both of them are two different signals. So the morning lavender, the morning with eucalyptus and peppermint, that is to refresh and wake up. And then at night, the lavender is to signal the body and let it know that we about to go to sleep. And so that sets a whole process of, this is the way we wind down to go to bed. So, at work specifically, seek out any available employee assistance programs. The EAP programs are really good. They may be helpful. There's some options um, there for help with childcare if there's concern, or even mental health breaks. You know, in your community, try finding if there's a local parent group, a book club, a spiritual group, or exercise or sports team, or other supported group bind bond and unwind with. Check on your local Eventbrite or your Meetup, eventbrite.com, meetup.com, and see what's happening around. See what you can plug into. There's a lot of things that are happening in person, but then there's still quite a bit that's going on online that you can plug into that will, help build, motivation and, morale and all that kind of good stuff. If you feel that you may be depressed or have a higher level of anxiety than is healthy, then seek professional help from a therapist or a counselor. Um, Sometimes cognitive behavior therapy can be helpful when dealing with negativity or low self esteem. anxiety symptoms, or other mental health issues that are tied to burnout. Unplug, do digital detoxes. People talk about that all the time. Oh, I'm off social media this week or this month or for today or whatever. And stop comparing. Stop comparing yourself with other employees. Um, uh, don't compare yourself with what's happening on social. It says employees who don't get paid time off or regularly scheduled breaks from work are more likely to feel resentful and stressed. So try sticking to a schedule at work so you'll know when you'll have downtime, and so others will know exactly what to expect of you as well. When you're not required to be working, stay offline, disconnect, distract yourself with other things that are fun and relaxing. Avoid answering emails at home or on vacation, since this is the time to take a break and restore your energy. Make an effort to go outside to really absorb sunlight and fresh air, whether you are at home or at work. Another thing that may add to stress is constantly staying on social media and comparing yourself to other people, such as those who work less or make more money than you. Uh, Try to stop doing that. Focus on bettering your own career or work life balance, however possible. So the goal is, what's good for you may not be good for the next person, or what somebody else is doing may not be good for you. It may look good. A lot of social media stuff is not real. It's not real. People are buying followers, buying likes, buying comments, and then once they buy so many, if they can prove a little bit of what's the engagement, then they get these endorsement deals. So it's a lot of dishonesty. People who look a certain way, a lot of that is surgically enhanced. They're like, oh, come on, you could work out with us, you could do all that, when they know they had surgery. So, don't look at the IG, Instagram models, and Facebook phonies, and all of that. It really is to be taken with a grain of salt. So, in conclusion, really, you want to um, pay attention to if you are experiencing symptoms of burnout, if you're feeling exhausted or lacking motivation or overwhelmed. Someone who is feeling burned out may really just dislike your job, dislike your job, dread going to work, feeling anxious about having a busy schedule, lacking motivation around that schedule, or may not have time for things like sleep, hobbies, and exercise. And this chronic stress is tied to burnout. So you want to look at um, different mental and physical symptoms like insomnia or headaches or digestive issues, lack of focus, irritability, and muscle pains to see if that's you. If you're experiencing any of that, then those are all symptoms of burnout. So you want to put in these self care strategies for preventing and beating this problem, including making changes to your routine, exercising, maintaining healthy sleep habits, taking time off from work, unplugging digitally, and getting off of social media and getting social support. And this way, these burnout things can be, dealt with. Sometimes just really turning everything off and just being quiet, allowing yourself to be in quiet is important. Sometimes we just don't want quiet, don't want to be alone with ourselves. It's so funny. You don't want to be alone with yourself, but you want somebody else. You don't even want to be with you. So, yeah, so burnout really can affect our work, our families. And are you raising your hand? What you saying, Kip? You got your hand raised?
Look, I'm pointing towards her because she's like being a real.
Who you pointing at?
Deidre Lynn is behind me, and she's like right beside me. I don't know why they got me in the class with her.
Oh my! Oh, you be in the class clown.
Yeah, she over here. Okay.
She passing notes. Did he pass a note? Do you like me? Check yes or no. But really, it's so important to take stock of yourself and what it is. He won't sit still. Of course, he won't sit still. Always interrupting the class. But yeah, you just really want to take stock of your life and how things are in every aspect. And if you're finding that there's some work-life balance that's needed, or if you're finding that there's problems at home, I know I'm going to separate them. So the teacher said, "Teacher, please separate them too, because they don't know how to act."
Ain't no seat up there.
Yes, it is.
Oh, you know what? I cannot. But really, it really is so important to keep checking ourselves to make sure that we are good, especially now during this COVID pandemic stuff. It seems as if things are very interesting in this moment in the direction that things are going in. So we want to, be mindful of, the world and what's happening in it, and, taking it with a grain of salt and knowing that, our ancestors survived slavery. We could absolutely survive a pandemic, and eventually things will start to lighten up and be better. Definitely some craziness coming down the pike, but it's not anything that we can't manage our way through we're finding that a lot of the people who are behind this are not doing well, because at the end of the day, God has the final say. So don't find yourself getting too bent out of shape about the things that are happening, the things that we're seeing. Unplug from the news a little bit, so that you're not being inundated by whatever is going on. A lot of times the stuff that's going on doesn't have a direct effect on our households, right? It takes a while to trickle down to happen. But just in the spaces that you need to be having really good conversation conversations that will help you to um, move in for your family, and really taking that time out for relaxation. Like you guys spend so much money on your living spaces. Make sure that you have space in your living space to escape. Whose hands raised?
Lynn.
Oh, go ahead, DJ Lynn.
Unmute.
You.
I can hear you.
You can hear me?
Yes.
Oh, I'm just.
Too many devices. Okay, let's try that again.
I'm sorry.
I see y'all move to the head of the class.
My mic is open.
I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, Darlaina, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I can't hear you, but what I was going to say, I so appreciate your topic today, and I remember that time when I was working and trying to control that stress and maintain the, what do they call it, work-family balance.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as easy as it sounds, you know. And it's so important. And even then, I realized the importance of having a routine I called it a me routine.
Yes.
And, like Sunday was that day, the kids, my husband knew, like that is my day. It's sacred. My one thing that I will make sure gets done is I'll make a big Sunday dinner for you guys. But like after dinner time, the rest of the day was for me. I took that long soak and had my candles lit. And
Yes.
maybe I got my nails done if I didn't get them done during the middle of the week. But that was like my me time. And being in the house then with like 3 boys and a husband, like there wasn't another female. So it was like very, very important for me to have that special time. If you don't sit still. And he's over here press the buttons.
Stop touching the buttons.
They had that special time. And even now,
stop touching buttons, Kim.
Yeah, stop touching buttons. Daddy Tom says time for detention.
Detention, that's right. Daddy Tom knows the thing to do for you, Kim.
Don't get no detention. Can you let her finish? We have 4 minutes.
It's important for me, as you can see, to go get a massage tomorrow because he's stressing me out.
Absolutely.
But, it's a routine for me. I guess that's what I like. I just want to stress. It was a routine. It was a must.
Yes.
For me to maintain my sanity. And and not only that, you think that you deserve those things. I feel like I deserve to have some quiet time and just meditate.
We do.
And clear everything out is necessary. Is necessary because when I don't do it, it's like I get cranky.
Yeah.
For me.
You human.
So I appreciate it. It's like this is a form of self-care, right?
Absolutely.
You can.
It absolutely is a form of self-care.
I really appreciate your input on this topic. It really resonated with me today.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad.
That's all I have.
I'm glad. It is important. Me time is important because we put that stuff in and we just keep.
No, I don't hear her, and I don't hear her.
I don't know what these two is doing today, but they about to both get attention. But
I'm not doing anything. I'm just sitting here.
Yes, and Kemp is just doing the most. But it's so important to take that time for yourself to make sure that you're good, because the stress will continue to add up and add up and add up until eventually it runs over, and then whoever is in the firing line in the line of fire is going to get it if you don't take time. It's almost like that thing being on the airplane. In case of trouble, put your own oxygen mask on first. So you have to put your own oxygen mask on before you can help anybody else. And that oxygen mask is you taking care of you. That means you walking with you being with you journaling, you meditating, you taking that long soak. Sometimes showers are great, but it'd be wonderful to take a bath every once in a while. Soak your body, and at the same time give your mind a chance to just release a lot of stuff. The best way to release some of the things that have hurt us is really to allow those emotions to come up and come out so that you can release them. And that's the way you do it. You literally let the emotions come up, let your heart break open for however long, and then once you have released it that way, then you will feel 100% better. So absolutely take that time for yourself to prevent this whole burnout. Back to you, Mr. Satchel.
Hey, you got somebody up there. Come on up here, Gina. Got a hand up or got a hand up.
Good morning, everybody. Yeah, I just wanted to comment on Deidre, what she said, and I understand because we as women especially, we carry the so-called weight of the world on our shoulders. and it can become overwhelming. I mean, I have been going through some of that myself. That's why y'all haven't seen me doing a lot of stuff, because I've had to just shut down so I can find some time for myself, you know, and try to make sure I keep a handle on what's going on in this house, in my household, because it's a lot. It's a lot taking care of somebody and then dealing with other problems, outside problems with other people that just you don't even understand how they're thinking, because things that had to be done, it must be done. It doesn't make sense that you're sitting here prolonging it and get ready to cause danger. You know, so yeah, it's a lot. You get overwhelmed sometimes because you just feel like I could make a decision that could alleviate some stuff, but the thing that I'm making a decision about is not mine, so I can't really make that decision. So it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. Definitely understood. And routines are important. Like I have friends who Sunday is hair wash day and bath day, and then Wednesday might be massage day, and then Friday, like they really put certain things on their schedule, whether it's for 15 minutes, an hour, or 2 hours. Really scheduling time for yourself, and not in pencil, in ink, to say that this is the time that I'm taking for myself, not asking permission, but giving notice. Okay, Mr. Satcher, you have to leave now.
Margaret, hold on. Margaret got something to say.
Okay.
Yeah, I think too, because a lot of people from my job didn't come back to work. A lot of them quit, and then they have us working different shifts. I've been working different the pandemic, and when I switched over to my new position, I've been sick ever since. Last week I was sick, and I'm still trying to come out of that. I'm still a little sick, and I got to go to work today at 1. And I was feeling so bad on Sunday, I couldn't even breathe. So I asked my supervisor, can I go home early? But yeah, I've been experiencing that too, and I just broke down because and I have been going nonstop since this was happening. Yep. And I'm in the spirit. I'm in right now, so I'm just trying to get up here and just do better. My body is feeling it.
Yeah, it'll tell you. Your body will shut you down.
Hello, somebody. So go ahead and take control over your life. I mean, it's a lot that we can talk about on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
And I do want to say something, but in the meantime and in between time, you better take control over your life.
Yes, because if you don't, the doctors will, the jobs will, the people will, everybody will. And we really want to be in control. We want to be in control of our life.
Amen. So, I mean, have a great day on purpose. I love you all. And we'll see you on tomorrow. Thank you, Darlaina.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.
All righty. Thank you guys for watching. Have an amazing rest of your day.